Welcome back to the stream. Good to see you. We're going to be continuing on with the work that we were doing the other day, yesterday. Basically getting those alchemy tooltips to be a little bit more helpful. I made a bunch of changes to them last night, but I've got a bunch more that I want to do as well. So I actually did these ones. Let's see, show clearly. Yeah, so we want to show the empty ability slots that will be filled after alchemy. And then we also want to show the abilities that will be protected by alchemy. So yeah, this is going to be maybe a little bit tricky, but maybe not. I kind of already got started on some of that. But anyway, before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting. I almost said playtesting. No, the playtest is over. But you can wishlist the game on Steam. I would appreciate that. Making a bunch of good changes based on the playtest feedback. So yeah, we'll get it in good shape and see when we can do another playtest here. You could also support the game on Patreon. Your support is still greatly appreciated. If you subscribe for at least 1 month at the sponsor tier here, I will send you a key for the full game when the game launches, and your name will be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So this is a great way of supporting the game early. It's basically a pre-order as well. I think we're on track to release this year. So we're getting to the end finally. The end of the tunnel is approaching. Just have a lot more content to build and all these quality of life things to do. You can also purchase my Udemy courses. These will teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine. So if that's interesting to you, check that out. And let's get right into it. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome. Good morning, Malicious Rabbit. Dozy Burrito. Hello. Emerson. Welcome. Good morning, Carry On Emulsion. What a wonderful name. Welcome. Good morning. Inspired 2 days in a row. Unlikely. Yeah. Hello, Johan. Hello, Lord Psycho, welcome. What do you mean is over? Yeah, true. Okay. So let's take a look at what I got here. I can't remember what I finished on stream and what I did after stream. So I'll just show you the current state of everything. All right, so if I do alchemy, the next task is to show which ability slots are going to be filled here. So I think that will be good. But yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. So when I hover over this, you can see that the new ability animates in, and I've also dimmed out all of the other abilities that did not change. So you can see that the ability icons for the other abilities are dimmed a little bit, as well as the empty ability slot icons, and the brighter ones, like the deal 4 damage here. Not only does it have a little sheen effect, which you may be able to see, but it's also brighter than everything else. So I think there's maybe still more to do here to make this even more apparent, but that should hopefully make it easier to tell at a glance, like what's new. And then if both of the abilities are new or all the abilities are new, you will see that in the tooltip there. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. And so now it's just a matter of extending this system, making it look a lot nicer. And yeah, we'll see what happens from there. Okay. So we want to show the empty ability slots that will be filled. I think what I probably want to do is, so we've got the empty ability configured hook. So the weird thing about all this is I need to hook into the card tooltip to change the tooltip. So I actually created this card tooltip hooks. I think I showed this on stream yesterday, but I spent a bunch of time last night making this generic. So basically this is a generic hooks. Well, it's not a generic class, but I can register like generic hooks and unregistered generic hooks and whatnot. And this is all very nice. So that means that, you know, I have the register hook, unregister hook, clear hooks, invoke hook, and then there's the private handler for the card destroying. But all I need to do to add a new hook type is just basically just declare a new delegate here. And yeah, that basically just allows me to extend all the hooks that I want to offer. Now I think it may be the case. No, I think this is fine. Yeah. So I can just add as many hooks as I want here as delegates. And then all I need to do to register to those hooks is I just need to pass the delegate type into the generic here, or define the generic type, whatever you would say in C# terms. But yeah, so I register to the tooltip hook or the ability configured hook, and then that's basically all I need to do. Same with unregister. So now instead of ballooning this hooks class, I can just define a new hook signature essentially, and that's it. That's all I need to do. Of course, I need to invoke the hook at the proper point using this hooks.invoke here, but that's simple enough to do. So that's the way that I'm altering the data. So now what I need is I need so we have this empty ability configured hook. Configure for empty. Rich text label.text is equal to tr UI empty ability UI ability empty slot. Why is that? Okay. Let's get that out of there. We're gonna get this out of there. We're gonna copy this, remove that. We'll use the translation string. Empty ability slot. Group is translation groups dot UI. Private const string UI ability empty slot. Let's swap this. Empty ability slot. UI empty ability slot. Okay. And then I'd take this and slap this here. Cool. So what I am going to want is I'm going to want another version of this, which is this ability slot will be filled. We'll call it UI empty ability slot will fill. That should work just fine. And then I just need to expose some way of setting that. We might as well just do public void rich text label.text is equal to tr UI ability slot will fill. Hello, Ashwin, welcome back. Curious what you're working on today. More tooltip stuff. How this code has GDScript and C#. That's just supported by Godot. You can even call functions from you can call GDScript functions from C# and vice versa even. Set empty slot will fill. Okay. So actually, I can go to my alchemy container here. We're going to want to register to this empty ability configured hook anyway. this is going to be a little bit of a problem. I'm going to need to make a bunch of changes to this class, I think. Not a whole lot, but first of all, let's just hook into this and then empty ability configured hook. Okay. We'll say if has initiated alchemy, we're going to dim the text. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to need to do like to do. Yeah, man. Okay, this is going to be a little bit tricky because I need the index as well. Interesting. Well, I will figure all that out later. One problem that I'm having, though, is this card tooltip hook creates this tooltip data here, but this is running the alchemy simulation every time, which is a little bit of a heavy operation to be doing every time I need a tooltip. And especially, I'm going to need this data, like the filled empty slot count. I'm going to need that for showing the empty ability slots that need to be marked as being filled, right? And I don't want to have to run the alchemy simulation every single time for that data. So I think what I'm going to need to do is I need to basically store that, I think. We do have board state updated here. We're calling update cost. Yeah, I think what I'm going to need to do is store the tooltip data. Which I actually don't remember how I'm doing. Alchemy manager.tooltip data. Okay. So just to make sure that I'm cleaning everything up, we're going to do card to tooltip data.clear. So on board state updated. Okay, if not has initiated alchemy, we are going to say tooltip data, card to tooltip data equals, you know what, I might as well just reassign this here as well. So wherever that tooltip hook is, I should probably put this. Why is this stuff not? Oh, never mind. It is good. So we're going to want to grab the tooltip data. And we're going to want this to be not null as well. So we'll just set it equal to empty dictionary if this happens to be null. All right, so we're getting the tooltip data of the cards. This is just the cards on board ordered by priority, so that works. So whenever the board state updates, we will just resimulate the alchemy to get that tooltip data. And now what I should be able to do is I can get rid of this. Oh, is it called card to tooltip data? So that should work. So I'm storing that data now. Let's just make sure that that works. So that should not have to, that won't have to simulate the alchemy every time I need a tooltip now. So it's only going to simulate the alchemy when the board state changes, which means when a card is added or removed or changes position or whatever. So if I do this, yeah, so we've got our tooltip data. That's all correct and stable. So now for any future hook, I will have access to that data if I need it. Okay, but one problem here is this empty ability configured hook. So I have the card tooltip data now, right? So I can say tooltip data, actually let's do card to tooltip data dot try get value of base card and then out var tooltip data. So this tooltip data will contain filled empty slot count. So that's exactly what I want. However, the problem is that this hook is very isolated. I don't have any data about, I don't have any data about which ability labels were already marked as empty. So there's a couple of nasty ways to fix this. One nasty way to fix this is to simply just, in the hook, I can store like a list of the temporary ability slots or whatever. So as this hook is invoked, I just kind of like increment a counter or something. And then I detect, you know, if the counter is greater than or equal to whatever, the filled empty slot count. But then I have to make sure to reset that data. I mean, that honestly, that just might be the way to do it. I don't really want to do it that way, but I also don't want to have to put any sort of like alchemy specific data inside of the tooltip itself. So this data has to live somewhere, and I don't really want to put unrelated data in the actual card tooltip or ability label. Like those should not really hold any relevant state. Those should just be objects that expose APIs for manipulating them. And then the system that's hooking into the tooltip will just call those APIs based on its internal logic. So I think I will need a hook for the tooltip though. Like a public delegate void tooltip hidden hook. I could make this a signal too, but we might as well just make it. We might as well just make it a hook. So we've got the tooltip hidden hook, like so. We'll go to the card tooltip, wherever we're calling. I mean, we do have the shown signal, and we do have. I don't know if I should use a. Here's the problem. Let's see. Actually, maybe it would be more appropriate to use a signal here. Because the tooltip hooks are for like, the point is like a specific card can register a hook, right? Or like, yeah, a specific card registers the hook. And then I can configure the tooltip for that card, right? That's sort of the way that it works. But in this case, I just want to know when the tooltip is hidden. So I think I can just do... We'll just do a signal in here. And then wherever that method was, clear. Emit signal hidden. So we'll just do that. And in the alchemy container here, I will just go ahead and connect to that. So let's just put it down here. Oh, get card tooltip.connect to hidden. On card tooltip hidden. Okay, all right. So we'll create a new int. I probably could clean this class up a lot too, but whatever. We'll figure it out later. Let's do tooltip filled empty slot count is equal to 0. Actually, I don't need to initialize that to 0, but I do need to set it to 0 in here. Goodness gracious, what am I even doing? So we're just going to reset that to 0 every time the tooltip is hidden or cleared or whatever. Okay. So now these hooks happen in the order they're supposed to happen. So what I can do in here, if has initiated alchemy, we'll just dim icon and dim text. And then we'll just return out of here. Otherwise, we are in the preview state. So in here, what I want to do is essentially, let's do var slots to fill is equal to tooltip data dot filled empty slot count defaulted to 0. If tooltip filled empty slot count is less than slots to fill, let's actually invert this. Greater than or equal to slots to fill, return. Okay. So now what I can do is I can do ability label. I want to do ability label dot dim icon, I think. Yeah, and then set empty slot will fill. And then tooltip filled empty slot count increment. Let's see if that works. Hello V, welcome back. Good to see you. Attila Bosma, hello, welcome. How do you handle UI scaling? I'm finding it a bit unintuitive how to set up well-scaling UIs in Godot. Does anyone have a good read up for how to do this correctly? Are you talking about like responsive UI? So like if the window size is changing, the UI stays pinned to whatever side. The thing is, like, I'm not doing any UI scaling. This is locked to 16 by 9, 640 by 360. So when you resize the window, it just adds black bars. So I don't really have to worry about like UI scaling. But the answer to your question is you use containers, right? So you use containers to create relative layouts for everything. You don't, honestly, like I've been using Godot for a number of years. I almost never use UI anchors. Like I almost never do that because they're confusing. They're kind of hard to predict what they're gonna do. That might just be me not being super familiar with how the anchors work, but containers, using containers and manipulating the layout flags and everything like that are for sure going to get you to the state where you have a dynamic UI that responds appropriately to window size changes. And containers are also the things that are the most similar to like, you know, if you're familiar with web development, then they're most similar to things like Flexbox that you would use for web layouts. So I just construct all my UIs almost exclusively with containers. And then I just make sure to set the sizes and the flags properly so that everything works real nice. Hello, Blue 2002. How's your Next Fest going? I'm not in this Next Fest. The next Fest is something that I'm targeting for sure, but Alchemortis is not in this one. It's not quite ready for that event. And you can only do Next Fest once. Oops, I forgot to build the translations. But it looks like that's working. I threw everything inside a canvas layer and have some basic containers, but nothing anchored. Try to fix things up a bit. Yeah, I'm trying to think like what is a good way that I can show. Yeah, I don't know if my case is going to be necessarily the best to show this off because my UI is like, it's not responsive, right? Like my UI, like this has a fixed width because this is pixel art. So this has to be a certain width, and that kind of like influences the rest of the UI design, right? And it also has to have a specific height, right? This has to be 360 pixels tall. There is no version, like this is just a sprite essentially. There is no version of this drawer that can be, you know, 5 pixels taller or, you know, 10 pixels wider. Like it's this size. So it's my case for Alcamortis is a little bit interesting because it's not really a dynamic UI. It's just like kind of fixed. So unfortunately, I don't think I can really share anything helpful there, but this ability slot will be filled. Excellent. This ability slot will be filled. So yeah, I think maybe we'll change that to green. So we'll do rich text label. I think I'm doing this somewhere else, right? Add theme color override. So we'll put the green in there. And then we will do ability label.dim text again. Actually, let's do public void set empty. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Set empty slot will remain empty. This needs to be, I misspelled this. Typo. This ability slot will remain empty. Okay, set empty ability slot will remain empty, and then let's also just go ahead and let's just call dim text here, I guess. Let's see what that does. Oh, I gotta build the translations. I always forget to do that. Next, fest, yeah. Reading rendering multiple resolutions on the Godot docs has some useful info about dynamic scaling. That is true. Alrighty, let's see what happens. This ability slot will be filled. This ability slot will remain empty. I think that's helpful. Nice. Yeah, I don't think I can really complain about that. Yeah, I think that looks fine. I'm going to simplify some of these tooltip things as well. Actually, this needs to be translated. Maybe I should just do that now. Can I put, I can't put attributes in here, can I? No. My cat is going insane right now. It's kind of driving me nuts. Kind of driving me nuts. Can you highlight the words filled and empty with a different color? I mean, they are different colors, right? The lines are all different colors. Like the whole line is a different color. So I don't think I need to highlight the individual words. But welcome back, Wooius. That's a nice animation for the new abilities. Thank you, Isbjorn. Appreciate that. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Okay, well, I need to translate these. I don't know if do I want to do that right now? Guess I probably should. Yeah, we're gonna have to rework this stuff. This item will gain ability. And then I need the plural form. This item will gain 0 abilities. Okay, let's just copy this. This item will have, so maybe I might just simplify this. Zero abilities will be replaced. Yeah, that might work. So we'll do UI, alchemy, filled empty slots. UI alchemy. Let's do UI alchemy tooltip gained ability. Something like that. It just needs to be a unique key. It doesn't really matter what it's called. So this one can be UI alchemy tooltip replace ability. Ah. UI alchemy tooltip corruption immune. All right, so now I got to work on all these ones here. Positive string is equal to trn. This would be UI alchemy tooltip gained ability. UI alchemy tooltip gained ability. Data.filled empty slot count. I think that's all I need to do there. Oh, and then I need to do a string.format on it. String.format that with data.empty filled empty ability slot count. Okay. So I think that's correct. Replaced ability count. This is going to be basically the same thing. Let's grab this here. Var string is equal to this. This is going to be UI alchemy tooltip replaced ability, data.replaced ability count, data.replaced ability count. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Var translated immune is equal to tr UI alchemy corruption immune. And then this becomes translated immune. Oh, and then I have the corruption chance. All right. So, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. I just have another string that I need to translate here. That's all right. So this just becomes 0% chance to gain a corrupted ability. We'll just simplify that. And then this can be UI alchemy tooltip corruption chance. Okay, and then we go down here. UI tooltip corruption chance. Actually, that's correct. And we just want to do string.format that data.corruption chance times 100. Alrighty, so hopefully everything's all translated now. Cat maintenance break, yeah. These titles really capture your descent into madness. I'd love seeing your vids on this game's development. I'm curious why you've chosen C# instead of GD script. Personal preference or performance reasons? Yeah, personal preference, that's it. That's it. Hello, Mel's, welcome. Good to see you. Oh, Pacheco Studio, welcome. I'm doing well, how are you doing? Okay, so all those translations are built. Let's see if this works now. Gains one ability, one ability will be replaced. Cool. Might change this actually. We'll put the number first. I think that might be easier to read. Oops, forgot to build the translations. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully I can be done with this. 3 abilities will be gained, 1 ability will be gained, 1 ability will be replaced. 2 abilities will be replaced, 44% chance to gain a corrupted ability. Okay, now let's try... add item corrupted rows. Oh, I need it to be legendary, right? So the legendary ability is not animating in. I need to figure that out, but that's okay. So this item is immune to corruption, so that works. Why is that backwards? Oh, I guess it should be at the top. Okay. Cool. So we'll figure out why that legendary ability is not working. That's a little bit concerning, but show empty ability slots that will be filled, not filled. Alrighty then. So that's good. Show clearly the abilities that will be protected by alchemy. That's another thing that I want to do. What else? Legendary abilities are not showing as new. So we'll have to fix that one. Yeah, we could probably get into that. Show clearly the abilities that will be protected by alchemy. I wonder if that might just be as simple as just dimming it out. Maybe I want an extra indicator there, but I think if I just dim out the icon, that may work. Godot 4.7 is here. Oh, nice. Are there any meaningful changes in this one? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of meaningful changes. I mean, between the release candidate version that I'm on. Oh, nice. Can't read that text. I wonder if that's just like a CSS issue. Nope, it's just dark text on a dark background. It must be a CSS issue. These are probably supposed to be white. Asset store, inline previews. I didn't see the inline preview thing. I wanted to know what the changes were between the RC3 version, but the drawable texture is something I'm very interested in too. I think I knew about all this, but the control offset animation stuff, the offset transform stuff is definitely welcome. Conic gradients, that may be useful. Improved tree drag and drop. I mean, I guess it's kind of improved, but I think it behaves differently to what I'm used to, so I keep messing like my reparenting operations up. Nearest neighbor scaling for viewports. Tile atlas textures and texture rect nodes. "2D scene painter." Oh, I see. That's cool. You could just paint scenes, create a bunch of instances. Nice. Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, the collapsible animation editor nodes. Tweens can now wait for signals. Oh, that's awesome. Tween await. I didn't notice that. Very cool. Only download the templates you need. That's also cool. Ignore controller events when your game is unfocused. That's going to be useful. I don't know what this means. Wait a minute. Oh, maybe that's not relevant. There's a problem with, so there's a certain amount of limit that there's a limit to how many uniforms you can have. And it's actually quite low. Like if you use instance uniforms and shaders, you can only have like 16 of them in the compatibility renderer. So imagine my shock when I was making heavy use of instance uniforms and then I tried to run Alchemortis and compatibility renderer and like everything broke. So I don't know if this change affects that limit, probably not, but I fixed it already anyway. These are all not relevant. Not relevant. GD extensions are now displayed in the project settings. That's cool. Awesome. I'll have to download the newest version later, but yeah, it's pretty cool. The GUI stuff alone is worth it. Yes, for sure. You don't think there's any difference between RC3 because it's feature frozen? Asset store. Do you use Linux? I sometimes use C dark mode issues when I'm on my Linux system. I do not use Linux. I'm on Windows. Collapse. Being able to only install the export templates you need is great. I can cut the total download size in half. Yeah, I mean, I understand how that would be a problem for a lot of people. That was never a problem for me though. It's like, you know, I have a gigabit internet connection, so downloading the templates took like 10 or 15 seconds at most. So it wasn't an issue really, but I can see how that would be helpful for a lot of people. How'd you get the cards wider than for the Kanban board? It's in the settings. You just bring up the settings here. You could change the list width here. A little settings icon that's easy to miss, but you can configure settings for this board. And then you can make them wider. I think it's a lot nicer that way. A little bit more room to read. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, we're going to figure out why legendary abilities are not showing as new, and then we'll go from there. So, BRB in just a second. Okay, I'm back. Some of the highlights are written in such a quirky way that it's hard to understand what the change actually entails. Yeah. I think it's also hard, like, if you're just not familiar with the system that they're talking about, it's like, you know, you're probably not the intended audience either. Like the uniform thing, I don't even know what that means, but that's all right. Anyway, let's figure out why the legendary abilities are not showing up as new abilities. So show effect for ability. So I want to change this too, but that's all right. Is new ability. Alchemy results first to default. New composed abilities contains. So it may be the case. Oh, it's not adding the legendary ability in here. Why is it not doing the legendary ability assignment in this step? I don't know why that's not being done as part of this step. Let's do this. I may regret this. Oh, not true. I may regret this, but let's do I don't need to pass that in, actually. That's just not necessary. But in here, we're going to pass in is new legendary. This goes away now. And then in my get alchemy output data, let's just put this in here. If is new legendary. Yeah, this makes sense to me. What is actually in this method here? Yeah, that seems correct to me. Yeah, I don't really see a reason why I was doing it out here. I think maybe that was just leftover, because this method used to contain a lot of the logic, but now, so this method get randomized output, what this has turned into is just fetching the new data for the item that needs to be added, and then the rest of this method is just responsible for configuring that item with all the new data. So we basically take the output data and then we set the critical chance, the bonus ability slots, the composed abilities, the base cooldown, all that stuff. We set that based on that output data. So I think that's probably okay. Yeah. Let me just make sure I'm not doing anything weird in here. Okay, I think that's correct. It's going to ignore the corruption chance. If it's legendary, this will be true if this is also true. But this could be true and this could be false. For example, if we're putting a legendary item into the alchemy pot, it's not becoming legendary, it's already legendary. So that's fine. All right, let's see what happens. Hopefully this works. The migration guide link is broken. Love the new vertex stamping for 3Ds can make mashing together prototype levels so much faster. Look at that. Our legendary ability is now working. Sweet. What IDE do you use? It looks familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. It's VS Code. What's up, Firebelly? How's your game? It's going well, Kelso. How are you doing? Yeah, Alchemortis is going well, I would say. Thank you for answering the Kanban question. I completely missed that settings button. No worries. No worries at all. So yeah, legendary abilities are now working. And let's just throw it back into the pot and make sure that everything is still going well. Okay. Nice. I really hope that that doesn't create any side effects. Let me do the chisel here. So we add item chisel. We grab the chisel, we get the ability off of the skeleton warrior. Okay, that does not register as a new ability. So that's another edge case that we have to handle. Yeah, that's another edge case we have to handle. That's all right, but let's just see if I add this. Okay. And there's one other thing that I want to test. So grab the chisel, take that off again. Add alkahest. Okay, so there's our legendary. Okay. We're going to add this legendary ability to this incense, but then we're also going to do the alkahest. Let's see what happens. Okay, I think that makes sense. So the weird thing about the chisel is it adds the legendary ability to the item, but it doesn't make the item itself legendary, which is intentional. But I was confused about that for a second, but it is working, so that's good. Okay. The other thing we need to do is items like chisel / spore are not showing the new ability as new. So those are reagents specifically. I can fix that, but okay. Fix legendary not showing as new ability. So what's the deal with this reagents? Handle reagent override. Absorbed ability, reagent effects, DQ, absorbed ability. New composed abilities. Reagent output overrides. Does gold do this? Alchemy transmute input. Yeah. So the tricky part here is I don't want whatever card is created by gold. I don't want that to show as having new abilities. Although I guess it doesn't hurt. What else hooks into this reagent output overrides? I'm taking a break for a month in game dev. Back again. Your game looks juicy. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes breaks are necessary for sure. Usually my breaks, the form of my breaks are just going off on random tangents like this. Like I'm still not done with the combat log, but I'm having fun doing this instead. Oh my gosh, this cat. Come here. Gosh, why are you so full of energy? Why are you so full of energy, buddy? So, alchemy duplicate item. Wait, duplicate item is the same thing. Best break is a cat break. Got a new kitten and I cannot focus on anything, yeah. They can be demanding creatures, that's for sure. I'm trying to think, buddy. Hi. You're cute. You're cute, but you're also annoying. So the problem here is that I don't really have a good way of determining, based on the reagent output override, what the new abilities are. What is the item that duplicates? So transmute, duplicate. Oh, right. Eyes of the Forest is what it's called. I mean, I might as well just set them all as new. I mean, I don't really think it's a big deal. If there's a reagent override, I'll just mark every ability as new, and then we can fix the individual cases that come up. So what I'll do is I'll just say a new composed abilities is equal to additional card. Let's do this. Additional card dot get base composed abilities. So we'll literally just say every ability on that card is a new ability. And if that's like slightly wrong sometimes, I mean, I don't think it's going to be wrong necessarily right now, because I think it probably is appropriate actually to show, like, if I add gold, I think it is appropriate to show that, hey, this is the new skeleton that came out, right? So this one is unchanged, and then this one's like, here's the new one, right? So I think that makes sense. So I know that this is the one that got created from that. And then the same is true for that add item I binds. I don't have room for it. The same is true for this one. Creates an exact copy of one left adjacent allied item. So let's just, I don't know, let's just copy the skeleton dragon, I suppose. So I copy that, dragon comes up, and then this one is the new one, right? So I know that that one's the new one, or the copied one. I mean, it doesn't really matter because they're both exactly the same because they're copies, but maybe that's, I think that's probably still fine. And now it should work for the chisel, though. So if I do add item, or let's do giant mushroom spore. That's another good one to test. So if I grab a random ability off of the skeleton dragon, yeah, so that's correct. And then I can add this to that guy. Cool. I think that makes sense. I don't really have any problems with that. So if I ever have another like reagent output override thing in the future, I may need to change that behavior, but for now it's okay. What a cute cat. Yeah, he's cute. He's cute. Easy to get burnt out. I also work on game dev courses for a college though, so I don't ever get a full break. Yeah. Is this the game you started during GMTK? No, it's not. The game I did during GMTK was somewhat similar in theme, but yeah, no, it's a totally different game. Totally different game. Handling one system in game dev to finish one. I start game dev with 0. So, show clearly abilities are protected by alchemy. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that one. But I am happy with these changes enough where I'm going to merge this actually into my master branch, because I actually kind of want to get started on a different thing. I'm going to have so many things in progress, but it's okay. It's all part of the same effort. That's how I'll justify it. It's all part of the same polishing effort. Okay, so we'll close this. Go to master, fetch, git fetch prune. Open this back up. All right, let's do something fun. Change the alchemy drawer position. So we talked about this in the Discord, but it feels kind of weird for the alchemy drawer to be over here on the far side of the screen because it's not, you have to drag quite a ways. So what I want to do, if possible, is move this drawer in between the player inventory and the margin container here. Done. I mean, this would be a good way of at least testing it. The problem here, though, is that the combat widget will need to slide over when alchemy is open as well. And so does the player board. So this is really going to be the tricky part about this. Oh my. I can already tell this is going to be a much better though. So we need to slide the player board over. So basically everything needs to shift over for the alchemy. The other problem too is that when we're actually in an event, the inventory will slide open, but then, yeah, we've got these, yeah, these are like offset, right? So the idea here is that I should still be able to open the alchemy here. The other problem is that the artifacts are going to get, the artifacts need to get pushed over as well. So yeah, there's a lot of flow things I need to do here, which is going to require restructuring a lot of this. The first thing that I want to do though is just so I can get a better idea of what's actually happening here. We're going to flip this art. Can I flip the art? Oh no. Do I have to reshade everything if I flip it? Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see, where is the alchemy? Texture. This is Assets UI Alchemy Drawer. Okay. Are you doing the 2026 jam? I mean, I'd like to, but probably not. I think I need every weekend I can get to work on Alchemortis. I really like participating in the game jams, particularly GMTK, but I don't know. I don't know if I should do that. Although, it would be a good marketing opportunity. Like, let's say I was able to make a game that placed in the top 100, which is something that I've done previously, at least once, I think. That might be a good marketing opportunity for Alchemortis. Maybe if I tell myself that it's a marketing opportunity, I can do that. Okay, so this whole drawer panel. Right, so let's just... Can I just flip this? Oh, it's locked. Flip that horizontal. Flip that horizontal. Actually, I don't think I need to change the shading. I think it's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine, actually. Why do I have 2 margin containers? Do I dare simplify this? I'm gonna break so many things with this, but why does that look? I guess that's just how it is. Okay. That looks pretty cool, actually. The comment log is going to be a problem. That shouldn't be there, but... Why does that look off-center? Was it always off-center? Oh, because I have a... Why is there a margin here? What is even going on? Okay, let's just get rid of that. Oh, you know what? I probably just need to flip it around. Yeah, I think it's because these vines, they're not a straight line. So I applied a little bit of padding to kind of like shift everything back into the center. So I think that's why I was doing that. Let's see, this is 26. And this is 20... Roughly 26. Yeah, see, the problem, it's not a straight line. It's not a straight edge line, so I could probably maybe reduce this. Yeah, the problem is, where do I measure to, right? We'll just keep it what I had it set at. That's fine. Since they had a similar name. Yeah, it did. Yeah, Retro Mortis and Alchemortis. I mean, Retro Mortis was, I was doing a bunch of like experimentation that was relevant to Alchemortis. That's why they're kind of similar. They have a similar color palette. They have similar sound design, I guess you could call it. I was testing out a couple of like techniques that I wanted to apply for Alchemortis, and I think it worked really well. This combat log button is going to be a problem. These buttons are going to be a problem because those vines are not a straight edge. So they're going to need to be... Yeah, that might be an issue. The artifacts need to be pushed over. Yeah. Good morning, Ninja Link. Welcome. I can see a Jam Alchemortis spinoff being a good way to draw in players. Yeah. Homie is rescheduling the rest of his year in real time. It's great to see you guys and A-Sprite. They look so good together. I kind of forget they are separated. Yeah, thank you. What if you make such a masterpiece that wins and you have to abandon Alchemortis to make that? Decisions. I mean, that would be a good problem to have. I probably wouldn't do that. I would probably just leave it on the back burner. If it was that good, I would finish Alchemortis, and then once Alchemortis is released, I would start working on that in the background. Probably. But I don't think, I mean, game jams are usually hit or miss for me. Sometimes I have a really good idea, and sometimes it's just kind of like, eh. Why flip it horizontal? Because the left edge, this edge here, is not straight. It's not flush, right? This kind of hangs out. This is expecting there to be empty space to the right so that you can see the detail. And then the left edge, which was previously the right edge, is straight, right? So if it was flipped, and then I put it over to the right here, I would have like this weird gap between the inventory and then this weird straight line here, right? So the reason why the art needed to be flipped is for that reason. So now this is flush with the inventory here. And actually, there's a draw order issue here. Because I want the inventory to stay on top. I don't like using z-index, so I'm going to see if I can figure out a different way to do this without the z-index, but yeah, I want the inventory pillar things to be on top. There we go. Yeah, this is going to look great, I think. I just need to push this board over more. And I need to push the combat widget over here, probably. All right, well, I should definitely be doing this on a different branch. We'll just call it alchemy, drawer, reposition. How do you use that pixel measure thing? It's just in the toolbar here. I think it's R by, or M, it's M by default. I cannot unsee that being off-center by 1 pixel. Is it off-center by 1 pixel? I mean, I can just... I don't think it is off-center by 1 pixel. The thing too with like what's weird about visual design is that the visual center of something is often more important than the mathematical center of something. So a classic example is like the play icon for your media player. If you were to center a play icon based on its mathematical center, it would not look right. So if you had even padding between like the left edge of it, which is the straight edge part, right, and like the previous button, right? So you've got your previous button, your play button, and then your next button. In most media players, what you'll notice is that the gap between the previous button and the play button, I think it would be... It's different than the gap between the play button and the next button, because the visual center of mass is like in the center of the triangle, like in the middle of the triangle. But if you centered it according to its bounding box, it would look weird. It would look misaligned, even though there's technically equal spacing between each of the bounding boxes. So anyway, that is something that's kind of weird about like UX and laying your elements out, is sometimes the visual the visual weight is more important than actually being mathematically correct. I'm not saying that that's the case in this instance. It's very possible that in this instance, I may want to shift it over by 1. Godot 4.7 is out, yeah. Have you taken part in Godot Wild Jam before? I think I did once, yeah. I like the UI, old UI more. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to be true when I finish this. The problem with making changes that people are used to is that the initial reaction is almost always, I don't like that change. That's happened for me. That happens for me too. I'm not saying I'm immune to this, right? So this repositioning the alchemy drawer was actually a suggestion that was made many months ago. And I was like, no, I don't like that. But after sitting on it for a couple months, I'm like, you know what? Actually, I think this is a problem that needs to be fixed. So yeah, that's the problem with changing things that people are used to. If you had never seen the game and I released the game with this layout, you probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. You'd have been like, oh, that's a good place for it. But I do think that this is going to be better. Like, I can very clearly see. The only thing I'm concerned about is getting this like working very nicely with everything else that's on the screen. So yeah, I gotta figure that out. Could have alchemy constantly open. I can't have it constantly open because the enemy board is going to be over here. So I still want to preserve this kind of a view where you've got the alchemy collapsed and your inventory is open, and then you've got like your enemy board and player board or whatever your event is over here. But then here, you can open that and then close it all at the same time. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. I prefer this new changed UI. Oh my gosh. How do I turn off auto scroll? Can I do that? My cat is being so annoying today. Like the entire stream, just constant meowing, jumping up on me, jumping off of me. It's really, really hard to maintain my focus when he's doing that. Sometimes he just has those days. I don't know how to prevent. I'm having an issue with my social stream. Anyway, I prefer this new changed UI, easier for the player to interact with. In terms of visual, I like the old one. In terms of interaction, the new one is better. What is the canvas size again? 640 by 360. I way dig the new UI. It makes more sense to have everything close to the inventory instead of having to drag all the way across the screen. The only thing I wish the right side of the screen had something to balance it. Could be cool to move the actual game under the UI. Well, yeah, everything's going to shift over. So like this player board is going to go over here. In terms of having something over here, I don't know. I mean, the combat widget is going to go over here as well. I guess there is going to be a lack of stuff on the right, but... Oh yeah, and the artifacts and stuff are going to be moved over here as well. So this area will get filled out as I shift things over. But yeah, I think it's to the right side's vines that make the board distance appear longer. Combat board is hidden. I don't like the change. Nothing else is going to be there, IDK. I use the Godot editor with this kind of layout, so I like the change. Thank you, Snupbill, for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciated. With the message Yummers. Hello, hello. Welcome back. That's always appreciated. Thank you. Very generous. Yeah, the messages keep coming in, and I'm trying to like read down, and every time a message comes in, it auto scrolls my little chat window down. And like, there's no button to stop auto scroll. That seems like an obvious oversight. I can pause incoming chat messages, but I don't know if I'm going to lose lose messages. I like the change when I first played the game. This was the main thing I noticed. Given that the alchemy system is so central to the game and theme, it seemed odd to be hidden in the periphery and maximizing the mouse travel distance between the inventory and cauldron. Yeah. That's the other thing too, right? It's like I want players to engage with alchemy. So when you have your inventory open, like having this smack in the middle, like I originally proposed putting this on the left side, but having it smack in the middle, like such that you have to drag over it to like put items on your combat board. It's just like this constant reminder, like, hey, do alchemy. Hey, do alchemy. It's right here. Do it. So that may actually go a long way into, like, because I still noticed that when players were playtesting the game, sometimes they would go like several combat rounds, some of which they were struggling with, without engaging with the alchemy at all. And I was just like watching these people like, oh, use the alchemy. Come on, like this is, you're having trouble with your build. Like you could just alchemize a couple of things and it'll be fine. But I think having this here now as like an interrupt between your inventory and your combat, it's just constantly in your vision. I think it's going to be a really good change. Do nested draws follow the same rules as nested if statements? If so, you are unhinged. I don't know what that means. Do nested draws follow the same rules as nested if statements? Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. Do you use viewport as a stretch mode? Yes. Do I need the combat board info for alchemy though? Yeah, the combat board is going to be moved over. Suffering from success. Niche YouTube eCeleb moment. Did I miss any chats? No. I was just being silly. I like the change. It makes more sense for mouse travel. The game is really shaping up. Okay, I got you. I just don't even, like if you were making a joke, I just don't know what nested draws make sense. Oh, drawers. Maybe you meant to say drawers. I got you now. I got you. Okay, but the real challenge here is, number one, to get my cat to stop meowing constantly in the background so I can think. And number two, figuring out how to get all this to flow very nicely. Because this layout is not really conducive to getting this to work. Because so the player board is here. I may just have to do something like, I don't know. See, I'm debating, do I want to like restructure this scene so that everything flows much nicer together? What happens if I do this? If I say offset transform on without visuals only, and then I do this. Okay. So it doesn't actually affect the container flow, which makes sense. It brings all of the controls that are inside of it along with the visual transform. So that means that, you know, this clickable area will actually be clickable here. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't change the position that it has in the flow, which makes sense because this is an offset, right? So yeah. Sorry, I don't know what this cat is doing. I need to find a way to placate him. BRB. Alrighty. Let's see. Just can't spell, gotcha. Sometimes I like to drag the alchemy output directly to the combat board just to hold stuff. Godot CSS shenanigans. Be funny if we could hear the cat. Yeah, I'm glad the noise suppression is working at least. He was literally like slamming cabinets in my kitchen, like just bang, 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 constantly meowing. It's like, oh my gosh. It's a good thing you're cute and you have a good personality, because otherwise you'd be a demon cat. Like, I'm not even kidding. If this cat like just had an awful personality and was like mean to everyone and wasn't friendly at all, and he was acting like this, I'd be like, I'm done. You're getting rehomed. I don't want you anymore. But you do have redeemable qualities, so I guess we'll keep you. I guess we'll keep you. What is wrong, buddy? What is wrong? What is the deal? What's wrong? Can you let me work now, please? Are you happy now? Okay. I guess it's cat stream now. Who wants to do good? Who wants to do work? Who wants to do work? Here, is this gonna placate you? I'll put you on here. Let's see. Is that better? No, okay. Well, whatever. We'll try to move forward and we'll see what happens. Honestly, I may just have to end the stream if he keeps going, because I literally can't think. Okay. So the question is, do I want to restructure all this stuff? Or... because I need this alchemy drawer, or the artifact animation route. That needs to go over too. The problem is I don't know if I can actually achieve what I want with just using like the container layout. And also there's a draw order issue here, which is that I want this player inventory to draw on top of the alchemy drawer. And I don't like to use z-index for that stuff, because that just kind of like, I think z-index is a recipe for getting your whole rendering draw order just completely screwed up. So I try not to use z-index when I can help it. But that means that the alchemy drawer actually needs to come before the player inventory in the tree, but that changes the layout there. So I may actually need to move away from using an HBox container. I may just have to use a series of margin containers that have the proper margins configured. And just like lay them out, because like I know the sizes of all these things, right? This is made easier by the fact that these are not like dynamically sized elements. Like they are a fixed width and height. So I could, for example, say with the alchemy drawer, I could put it first, but then give it a left margin of 102, because that's the width of the player inventory, right? So I could say here's 102 left margin, and then I can put that here instead, and that gives me the same exact layout, but now the player inventory is rendering on top, right? But then I need to repeat that for everything. So let's just do this. Player inventory, oops. Why is that happening? Oh, I put it as a child of that, that's why. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. So we player inventory, alchemy drawer, and then these buttons here, these want to render behind the alchemy. So these would be tab buttons. So in this case, what I would do, these would have to have 102 plus whatever margin offset. Yeah, see, the problem is that's being clipped pretty hard. There, it's fine up here, but not down here. Actually, I guess I got the sizing wrong here. Okay. How big is this? 2? So yeah, 103. There we go. I'm sure that's just going to mess everything up because now I've got all these margins. Especially for these tab buttons now. Yeah. The cat you described sounds like mine, yeah. We want cat stream 24/7. Why not just shift the artifacts over? I am going to be doing that, yeah. I am going to be doing that. It's just a matter of, like, how do I actually want to do it? Who cares about your dev problems if there's adorable chin rubber in the vicinity? Do you use shaders for Alchemortis? Yes. There are several shaders on the screen right now, including this one right here. And this one right here. I think those are the only shaders that you can see right now. But yeah, I make pretty heavy use of shaders in this game. Pretty heavy use of shaders. Okay. Well, I think it's a good start. I would love to see like how this works out, but I'm pretty sure if I run this, it's just going to be completely broken. So I need to redo all the animations and stuff. Yeah, this is not even close to correct. Wait, where did my buttons go? What the heck? Yeah, so this is completely broken now. So I basically just need to restructure this whole thing and probably redo all the animations and stuff. For this container here, so there's two distinct situations, right? You've got the map situation where when you click this inventory button, it opens both of these panels. But then you've got the situation where, let's say you're in combat, the inventory in that case gets locked open, and this is the only panel that can be open and closed. I guess my main concern that I don't know if it's going to work is, let's say that the player has a really long board. It might clip over the enemy board, but that's okay. I'm not worried about clipping over the enemy board necessarily. I'm worried about that looking weird, but it'll probably be okay. I think I will have to probably stop combat though when I will have to stop combat when the alchemy is open. Because it would look weird, like let's say you have a long player board and then like it's shifted over to the screen here, but then the enemy board is also like here. Then you would have two boards going at combat with each other while the screen is dimmed and there's all these effects flying back and forth. So yeah, I probably have to pause combat or disallow opening alchemy during combat, something like that. I'll have to do some... so basically this change is going to have to require, I think, quite a few changes across the board. Like little UX things. I guess I'm just thinking through this stuff now because I want to be really sure that I'm not going to end up with any problems if I do this. I don't think so because it's fundamentally the same amount of screen real estate, right? I'm not actually adding more to the screen, I'm just shifting everything around, so I think it'll be okay. Combat widget will need to slide over as well. Yeah. Maybe not allow alchemy open during combat. I may have to do that, yeah. You don't need it during combat, that's true. I guess I figured, you know, like it might be nice to like, if you have an idea for alchemy, you can open alchemy at any time and just do it. But I may just have to put that restriction on there. I don't need the alchemy to be openable during combat for sure. And that could just be as simple as like hiding this button when you click the combat start so you can't open it again. The artifacts will need to shift over. The other problem too, and I don't know if this is a problem in the current build of the game, but you know, I suppose it is possible to get enough artifacts that they would have to wrap. But that would be a lot of artifacts. That would be more of an issue for like an endless mode if I ever did one. Yeah. Okay. It's free real estate. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream there. Like I said, I'm having difficulty focusing. Also, it's approaching lunchtime for me anyway, so I'm going to go get some lunch. I'll try to do a bonus stream today where we continue on with this. Hopefully the cat will calm down by then. But, yeah, I think making good progress. I think it's pretty straightforward from here. I just need to handle all the different cases for how these drawers get opened and make sure the animations are correct and everything. Fortunately, the offset transform stuff makes this a lot easier, so it should be fine. But yeah. Sorry that we didn't get a whole lot done on the stream. The cat just gets this way sometimes, unfortunately, but anyway. That's it for the stream. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. If you're interested in Alchemortis, you can wishlist it on Steam. I would appreciate that. And yeah, we're basically just working on addressing all of your playtest feedback. I'll be doing a lot of balancing of the game, trying to get it into a much better state with respect to that. And then we'll work our way towards another playtest. So hopefully it won't be too long, but I think it may, you know, we did a couple of playtests in short succession, so it may be like two-ish months before we do another one. That'll give me plenty of time to address all these things and add a bunch more content and all that stuff. So anyway, hope you all have a great rest of your day. Follow the Discord if you want to be notified when I go live again. Otherwise, I'll be back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, bye-bye for now.